You are the owner and the creator, the founder of what is Traditions.
I wasn't as committed as I should have been. I was thinking about the wrong things. That's where I started. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, but I just knew I wanted to start a business. Decided to start the business, but I needed a name. I remembered about all these businesses, with their pretty cool names, but I wanted to be something different, of course. Traditions was actually born from a conversation that I had with my grandmother. I didn't have as much knowledge. I didn't, like, for me, and honestly, bro, like, I didn't do my research. Like, I was just one of those people that actually threw themselves into like that road. I didn't even know how to do it. I just did it. I should have done my research because, like I said, I've lost a lot of money, whether it may have been in production, whatever it might have been. Like, I've lost a lot of money in everything. Obviously, you want to make an investment that's going to benefit your business and boost up your business to get somewhere where you want to be, or be a little more recognizable than you already are. So if that involves you spending a couple of dimes more, then if you feel like it's gonna benefit your business, why not? You're not acting like you're rich, or you have way more money. You're still thinking, you're still working like you're broke. I feel like it's all in your head. Like, if you think about all the negative stuff, you think about the bad things that are gonna happen, or about how much money you might lose, or the wrong decision you might make. That's basically what you're gonna portray. He told me, hey bro, like, if you do your business, you do know that you have to get a DBA, right? What is that? And I'm basically going to give this information out for people that are trying to do this and they don't know what to do exactly. I also encourage everybody that decides to listen to this, and when they do, if you guys decide to actually start a business, like, don't hesitate. I feel like the hardest part is always deciding to start.
Hello, everybody. Jared here. Today I was joined by Misham Hernandez from Traditions. As you heard, we spoke about his business, we spoke how it got started, how you can get your own business started, and many other helpful details. Without any more delay, enjoy this episode of the Lama Podcast. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Lama Podcast. I am joined today by the owner. Would you say you're a CEO of your business? Is that like a thing?
Honestly, I've always, believe it or not, when I first started, I felt like that was kind of the thing, to be named CEO and whatnot. But once I actually had the business established and whatnot, it kind of just drifted away from me. That idea of being called a CEO, I felt like it
Mm-hmm.
was it was gonna make me seem too cocky, or too
That's
want to
what,
be
yeah,
famous. Something, you know what I mean?
that's what people that when they barely get started, they're like, yeah, I'm the
Yeah.
CEO. And then they just have an
No,
Instagram page.
I've never said that, and I never like put that on my page or anything like that. I
Yeah.
kind of felt like it was just in my head, like I wanted to be CEO. But now that, like, well, I mean, I've obviously had the business, but once I had it like fully established, like, on my social media accounts and whatnot, like, even then, to me, it seemed like I felt like I wasn't in a better, in not in a better place, but like in a place where I can be like, okay, I'm really famous. Everybody knows me. Like, I have a place in, like, the clothing industry where, like, I'm very recognizable.
Mm-hmm.
So I can call myself CEO. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to me, it's like, nah, it's not really a thing for me right now. In the beginning, it was, but now that I'm like, nah, I don't even want to use that word.
Yeah.
It's too cool, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. But you are the owner and the creator, the founder of what is Traditions. It's company or co?
Well, it's company, basically. It's short for company.
Oh,
But yeah,
okay.
I am the founder. Yeah.
Okay. So for Traditions, and you're over in Los Angeles, right?
Yeah, yeah, in East LA.
Oh, East LA. Nice, nice, nice. So I want to
Yeah,
ask you, like, so about that,
yeah.
well, because I've no, I don't know how long you've been doing it, but how long is it that you've been doing this exactly?
All right. So it's actually been a pretty difficult road. In all
Yeah.
honesty, I feel like a lot of people think that once you get started, you're gonna have like a lot of success, or that it's gonna be super easy. I feel like the process to start is easy, but once you actually
Mm-hmm.
start, I mean, from there, you have to actually put in work and whatnot. But for me, I've actually had it for 3 years. I just turned 3 years in March.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, 3 years, and the first 2 years were, I mean, kind of the hardest. If we're gonna actually speak about, finance and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, 3 years. I've actually had it for 3 years, and I feel like barely. this third year has actually been one of the best years so far in
Yeah,
regards
because I've
to
been
start a
noticing
business.
you. Like this last year, I always see. Because like I'm not trying to like. I don't want people to get the wrong idea that I'm trying to say that he's all that or something. Or like I don't know.
Yeah,
But I noticed you. And you can't combat that people are noticing you and along with others and what you guys are doing.
hmm
So that's why like when you say that it's like that shows even to people that might not know what's going on behind the scenes. They're
yeah,
seeing the fact that they know about you is showing fact enough that what you're doing is taking off, and what you're doing right now is you're doing good in what you're doing.
yeah. I feel like I'm in a good place, in a better place than where I was the first 2 years. Because like you said, I guess the first 2 years were very difficult because I feel like, and I think it was just me, in all honesty, bro. Like, I wasn't as committed as I should have been in the beginning, simply because I felt like I was thinking about the wrong things at the wrong time, because
Mm-hmm.
I was more for, if I'm gonna be totally honest, because I feel that that's basically why I'm jumping on here, because I
Yeah.
kind of want to be honest with everybody. Um, to be honest, I was kind of concentrating more on the fame instead of the actual the
Business.
I don't want to say, yeah, basically like the business. I was concentrating on more like the fame and the likes and whatnot, because
Like getting
I
hype around
wanted,
it or something.
yeah, I wanted people to see my stuff, but
Yeah.
I was like thinking about the wrong stuff. So I was like, all right, and it was in regards to everything. So if I made a product, right, and then I would have to, like, okay, I need to promote this product. So I had a photo shoot, and I would have photo shoot with certain people, and then I would, upload that to my page, to my website, and then that was it. I was like, cool, I'm done. Like, okay, and I was just on my phone or on my computer waiting to see how many likes I got, how people would comment, and then I would get that stuff. But at the end of the day, like, I wouldn't see any revenue coming in to the
Mm-hmm.
business. So that was kind of like a something that kind of not upset me, but like it sucked, because I felt like I put in all this work. But it wasn't until I actually started, doing a little more research, and actually becoming more of a businessman, reading and listening to podcasts and all these famous entrepreneurs that I'm pretty sure you're aware of,
Mm-hmm.
and reading their books and listening to their stuff and their stories and their market strategies, that kind of helped me this past year. So I felt like I told myself I was gonna get ready, so that this third year I'm gonna go hard. I'm gonna work as hard as I can, and hopefully, things get better, and thank God they actually have, little by little. So I'm super excited. I'm super thankful for everybody that has actually, noticed me, and giving me a shout out, and actually, bought my stuff and whatnot. So it's a hard journey in the beginning, but it's exciting. It's
Mm-hmm.
an exciting journey if you're into that stuff, like competition, and to work hard, and actually get what you want. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, and okay, so let's see, let's go from the beginning, just so it's kind of
Okay.
just so I can understand a little bit more
hmm
about everything,
Yeah.
and get the whole picture of it, because I think like we're getting like the trailer, if you get what I mean. It's like
Yeah. Yeah.
let's go to the first second. So when you
All right.
were, how did it, because a lot of people, when the question a lot of people have, even though sometimes it's like corny, they're like, what inspired you? It's like, but what was the thing that, what was the, I don't know, I guess, like, because I feel like for most people, like, you have to have like a sort of mindset, or you have to have this, like, how can I say, like, epiphany or realization that where you're gonna take this when you make the decision to actually go out and do something. So what
Yeah.
was the thing that made you decide that I'm gonna start going down this path, and then the steps you took to start doing that, even if they were the wrong steps, like if you tripped and fell, but what were
Yeah.
the first things that you did, and like how was that formulated?
Um. Wow. In all honesty, it was several factors that made me realize what I wanted to do. First and foremost, my dad, he's a licensed contractor,
Mm-hmm.
and I've always seen his hard work, of course, growing up, and how much he emphasized, hard work and discipline and responsibility and sacrifice, of course, as a immigrant parent, coming to this country and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I saw his hard work and everything, and then eventually, little by little, we started moving up, in life, whether it may have been from living in an apartment to, having certain, stuff in our house, and then from there moving up to a bigger house and having better stuff in our house, and from there, like even and so forth. You know what I mean? So we started
Yeah.
like I started seeing that, and it wasn't until I kind of did my research, and I don't want to say did my research, but I don't know if you kind of get what I mean, right? So I started like realizing exactly how he started moving up.
Mm-hmm.
So it was all in the work. He knew somebody, and that person provided him with more work, and he eventually became self-employed, and he basically had his own business. So once I started seeing him making money, being having his own business, I kind of had that dream too. I said, you know what, I want to be like my dad. I want to have my own business. I want to eventually make money on my own. So that's where it all initially started, with my dad and having his business. That's where it started.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the construction field, so when you're a kid, you want to be the same. Your hero is your dad, and for me, he
Mm-hmm.
was my dad's. My dad was my hero, so I want to be like my dad. I want to be in the construction. That's where it all started. As the years started going by, obviously I became a teenager, started going to high school. All the hype around certain type of moda, fashion, and all that stuff. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to start a business. It wasn't until I got married, and I started realizing that I started spending a lot of money on clothes, that my wife was telling me, like, you shop a lot, you need to stop spending or whatnot. But I was so not addicted to it, but I liked it, and it wasn't even the idea of like shopping. It was just the idea of like I wanted to kind of look good to
Yeah.
myself, because
Mm-hmm.
maybe to other people I might not dress well, or to other people I might dress well, whatever it might be. But to me, it was like I wanted to dress good.
Mm-hmm.
So I was always spending on shoes, on clothing and whatnot. And it wasn't until all of a sudden, I was like, damn, like I really like clothes. Like I should do some clothes. And out of nowhere, I remember I have an older brother. It's just me and my brother, my siblings, and he just all of a sudden, randomly out of nowhere, shot me the idea of like, hey, we should start our own business. So I was hyped about it. I remembered about
Mm-hmm.
me wanting to do that. So I told him, hey, that's dope. Like, and I told him what I wanted to do because I was into clothing. I said, let's make a clothing. And he said, nah, like there's several people that already have that. Like, let's do something else. So I was already excited about that. So I said, you know what, like, nah, if I want to do clothing, I said, if you don't want to do it, fine. Like, I'll do it on my own. I said, because he graduated from he majored in graphic design and web
Okay.
design, so he's really good at that. So I told him, look, if you don't want to do that with me, then it's fine. But let me pay you, or let me hire you to work for me, because you're good at what you do, and I'm gonna need somebody with that knowledge to work on my stuff. So that's where it just started, and then it's still like that for about a year. And then I hit him back up. I said, hey, like, let's do it. It's because we weren't living together, so that's kind of why I guess the idea never really like blossomed or whatever. It never really like formed the idea. It was just the idea. It wasn't like we actually did it. So
Uh-huh.
that's where the idea started. So that stuck on my mind, and I was thinking like, damn, like I really want to do this. I'm gonna do this, and then that's how it stayed. That's how it stayed. And then a year passed. I remember it was about a year it passed, and then we weren't living together. So I reached out to him again. I said, "Hey, let's do this," and he was like, "Yeah, I'm down." So I said, "All right, cool." And I eventually, I did my research on what to do, where to go, and I eventually decided to start the business, but I needed a name. And
Mm-hmm.
I remembered about all these businesses, with their pretty cool names, but I wanted to be something different, of course. And Traditions was actually born from a conversation that I had with my grandmother. I remember telling her that I wanted to start my own business, that I wanted to be like an uncle that I had. Um, I don't know why I told her an uncle. I guess it was because at that time he was working with my dad, and I was very close to my uncle because my dad was like he was the owner of the business, so he wasn't working as much. So
Yeah.
I had to work. I was working for my dad, but I was helping my dad working with my uncle. So basically, I was I was kind of close. I was getting closer to my uncle, so we would also have a good time and whatnot. So I remember telling my grandmother I want to be like my uncle. Everybody kind of has their own business in has kind of like always done the wrong thing in the family. They're a family of 10, so
Mm-hmm.
each of them like kind of did the wrong thing. So I told her I want to be like that, and I want to be like my uncle because he's very hardworking, and he's always working and trying hard, and he's a family man, etc., etc. And she told me, she basically used that word. she said, yeah, I remember her saying, she said, yeah, like that's really good. That you know how grandmothers are, they always tell you that whatever, whenever it's like a good idea, if they approve it, you know it's good, you know?
Yeah.
So she was like, oh, mijo está bien, y quieres hacer como él, me da mucho gusto. And she was like, it's been a tradition for like, all of my kids or all of them to start their own business or to try to do their own thing to be able to, surpass themselves in life, And I'm like, oh yeah, cool. So that conversation stuck to me, but not the name. And it wasn't until I remember, I think I saw her and I remembered about it, and I was like, damn, like what name am I gonna use? And I was like, I want something different. So I remembered about that conversation, and I remember traditions, and I said, you know what? That sounds kind of dope, like traditions. And I kind of put it into like I wrote it down on paper, traditions. I'm like, damn, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So that's basically where the name was born, and basically that's after that. That's when I decided, all right, cool, like I'm gonna go full on this. And if we're gonna talk about first about how it started, that's basically how it started from an idea of me trying to be, like my dad because he was a business owner, and then from my brother gave me the idea to actually start it, and then for me realizing that I wanted to do clothing because I was really into buying a lot of clothing, and
Hmm.
then from the name, from the conversation I had with my grandmother, that's basically how it was all put together in an amount of years, basically. So it took time. It took time.
Hmm.
So
Man,
that's
that
how
that's a
that's how
really
it
good
started.
story, bro. I like that a lot. That because a lot of people just because sometimes you see people just have something, like I see a lot, like what I don't know about you, but I get a lot of like messages from pages that are like that they have
Hmm.
like their name is something really like generic, and you're just like, man, what the heck is this, and they're always trying to message you about
Yeah.
stuff. And but like what I seen with you and a couple other people is that there's the names of them has like a lot of meaning behind it, or they have
Hmm.
like yours, they have a story and like a moment, so
Yeah.
that was really nice to hear about. So but one thing I want to ask you was, because I know this a lot, what a lot of people think, right? And
Yeah.
then even I think I assume you probably have thought of this. I know I have thought of this, but it's like some people are like, man, but I don't even have the money to be able to do this. I don't have the means to do it.
Oh yeah.
It's like, how
Yeah.
am I gonna like I know me, like I was like, for this I was like, I don't even have a microphone. I need to spend $200 on a microphone and this and that, and then I literally just started first with my headphones, and
Yeah.
then and now it's like it's not the biggest thing in the world, but now I'm slowly upgrading. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the
Of
thing I
course.
wanted
Yeah.
to ask you is like, when you when you were starting, how like because a lot of people are like, man, you need to have a bunch of money. Like, how was the not asking exactly how much you started with or something, but how were you able to supply the investment needed to be able to do the things that you needed to, or how much were you able to handle? Like, I assume you could probably handle more now, but when
Oh
it
yeah.
was back then, how were you able to facilitate those things, and how much risk were you taking into your investments?
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like whenever I think about that stuff, I think about the past, the present, and the future because I feel like back then it was more easier because if you think about, and I like to take a lot of things into consideration, especially for those people that are going to be listening to this and going to be thinking about it's precisely that what you're saying, the money and how much to spend and how much I need and whatnot. Am I gonna go broke and all that stuff? Those are obviously stuff that you think about. But like I said, I like to think about these other the past pues these past entrepreneurs like that have these very successful businesses that we use to this day, like Amazon and Tesla and all these entrepreneurs that have their businesses, they started a certain way like by and if you read the stories, they say, oh, I borrowed money, I didn't pay rent, all that stuff. And I feel like back then it was a little bit easier to get
Mm-hmm.
around that way because nowadays you can't just tell your homeowner like, hey, like I can't pay the rent, like I'll pay you next time, like it's all good. Like no, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So I feel like now you actually need like a job, to actually be able to pay for stuff. But there's a lot of stuff that you can get for a cheap price. It's just basically doing your research. So when I started, I already knew guys that made t-shirts. So all I needed was my design And obviously, I talked to my, like I said, my brother was the one that helped me with it, and I think the first design that I did, okay, so the first design that I did was it was called La Familia. That was basically the design that I had. It was just a phrase, the word or the sentence, whatever you want to call it, La Familia. That's what it was. And I remember sitting in a car with a friend. Shout out to the homie Jesse. He knows who he is. He says it's funny because he says that he started this because of that. But the thing was that um we both said that phrase because we were sitting in a car and we were I think we were eating. I don't know what we were doing. We were eating and I told him, I said, hey, bro, like, I want to start my business. I already knew the name and whatnot. I just didn't know what to do on my first shirt, my first product. So I told him, hey, bro, like, I wanna make these shirts. What do you think? Like, we need to make I need something to put on a shirt, my first shirt. And I remember we got quiet for a couple of seconds, and then as soon as like, I don't know if we just thought about it at the same time or what, but we like turned around and looked at each other. And we both said La Familia, and it was kind of like a thing where La Familia to us meant literally that exact phrase, the family,
Mm-hmm.
because 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 of the like the community we're in, the church community we live in, we everybody knows each other. We all say what's up. We all get along very well and whatnot. So it was like it was a thing then, like La Familia. So we were like, okay, like that's dope, La Familia. So at that moment I remember hitting up the guy. Also want to give a shout out. Hopefully he listens to this, to Reggie Hadim, H&H Custom Prints, because he also had his little business then. It wasn't as big as it is now, but I hit him up and I told him, hey bro, like I need an order of shirts. He sells them by the dozen. So like I said, it's all like a little you need to do your research before you do it, because that way you know how much you're gonna spend and what you're gonna need. So I asked him how much it costs, and then he told me how much it was gonna be. And I basically I told him, right, this is what I want, and I got my brother for the design. I don't remember my brother charging me to do it. I guess because he was my brother and it was just the beginning. But in regards to, and like like I told you at the beginning, I kind of drifted away from the actual topic. Sorry,
Oh no, you're fine.
but but yeah, that's basically how I first started my first product. But in regards to me, how I got along or how I was able to manage like the money and whatnot. I had a steady job. I was working with my dad, so the rent that I was paying wasn't as much as I'm paying now. So back then, I obviously took advantage of that. That I had a lot of money left over. So based on the price that this guy would give me, then I would just use whatever I had left over and pay for that. Obviously now, like, I'm a little more structured when it comes to money, and obviously paying bills first and whatnot, and then um but because with your business, you're always gonna need to take a risk,
Mm-hmm.
and we as business people, you have to understand that if you never take a risk, or if you're always living on like the safe side, you're never really gonna get anywhere. So I've lost a lot of money, bro. I've lost a lot of money because of the same reason, that like I would spend more money on my business than on my actual, personal stuff, where it came to bills, my family and whatnot. So I lost a lot of money, but at the same time, I feel like it was all part of, trying to expand my business, trying to start my business, trying to get it somewhere. And I feel like little by little, now, after, like I said, 2 years, I feel like I'm always it's obviously how do you say, it's obviously worth it,
Mm-hmm.
now. But I feel like there's a lot of stuff you can do, a lot of businesses you can start without money. I'm not really sure which ones, but I've heard and I've read a lot that there are a lot. But simply the fact that you can research or learn a lot of stuff on the internet now without having to pay for it is already a big, a big what's it called? It's already a good start,
Yeah.
because yeah, you don't have to pay for courses, you don't have to go to school for it, and a lot of stuff is on YouTube. A lot of stuff the people that you might know already know how to do that stuff, so you can learn. um but yeah, that's basically how I did it. I just used my money, my regular money that I got from my job from working with my dad, and wasting it on making clothing. That's what I did. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So when you were starting it, was it like, cause like I like so most people like me, I'm still living with my parents. I'm not married or anything yet. So
Hmm.
when you started it when you were already married, right?
Yeah, I was already married. Yeah.
So and then when you did this, was it like uh when did you guys not to go too personally into it, but did you like try to find a place that was like cheaper so you can be able to use your extra money from your paycheck to be able to start this? Or like
No,
was it like you just like calm down on your spending or something? My bad for interrupting you.
no, it's okay. No, actually, that's what I'm saying, and I just find it funny because like back then, like I said, I wasn't as I didn't have as much knowledge. I didn't like for me, and honestly, bro, like I didn't do my research. Like I was just one of those people that actually threw themselves into like that road. That I didn't even know how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I just did it, you know. I should have done my research because, like I said, I've lost a lot of money, whether it may have been in production, whether it may have been in whatever it might have been. Like I've lost a lot of money in everything. But because of that, I feel like it's because of that because I didn't know. So I was already living in I was living with my in-laws, and I lived with them for a fair amount of years, and I was paying a very low amount of rent. So I felt like it was very easy for me. So I feel like I don't know why, and I feel it's funny because when I was living with them and I wasn't paying a lot of rent, I was able to do a lot of stuff, but a lot of stuff I feel like didn't really help me. But now that like I have my own place and I'm paying way more, I feel like I'm able to do a lot more, and that's actually gonna help and benefit my business, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't feel like I actually did anything to help myself because I didn't know. I didn't know how. I didn't do my research. I didn't know it was gonna actually benefit me. And I feel like it was a thing where I wasn't as well known and whatnot. And I feel like that kind of affected the idea of me trying to, you know, expand in or help myself in that way. So yeah, I didn't really do much to help myself because
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I feel like I didn't really like know what to do
Dove head
exactly.
first into it.
Yeah, I just dove headfirst into it, and I feel like that's how I learned. You know, now that
Mm-hmm.
that I have like I'm living in a in a bigger place and I'm paying way more rent, but um, what's it called? I'm way more smarter with my money now,
Yeah.
and and now I know how much I need to spend, how much I don't need to spend, what to invest in, what not to invest in, what's gonna benefit my business, what's not gonna benefit my business. You know, but I feel like we're still always gonna be learning no matter what.
Yeah.
Be I can be a business for a long time and I can be making so much money, but if I make a wrong decision, it's gonna mess me up, you know. So I feel like it's always a learning game. You're always gonna be learning and you're always gonna be making mistakes, and I feel like that's part of business, and that's how you grow. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's basically. Yeah, I didn't really do much to um to help
Like
myself in all honesty.
yeah, yeah. Cause I was thinking about what you said too, and like it's something that I think for a lot of people, especially people in our like, how old are you again?
Right now I'm 24.
24. Yeah,
I'm
I'm
about to be
20. I'm
I'm about to be 25. Yeah.
ooh when
June 25th.
June 25th. Y'all better wish me happy
Yeah.
birthday. Okay, buy a shirt or something. But
Yeah, for
I
real.
was gonna say is for that's a good present. But like I feel like our parents' age, is like
Yeah.
especially being immigrants and stuff, because the dream of them was always to like find a good job, make sure everything's good for my kids so they can go to school, they can do this, they can live a happy life, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But the way that and it's not to be disrespectful or anything, but the way that they
Yeah.
would manage their money or the way they saw the to deal with their money was the ways to be able to get the most out of it possible and have the least risk possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Of course.
like
Yeah. Of course.
I need to pay my rent, I need to buy food, and then whatever's left, I'm gonna make sure I have it for an emergency, or
Saved
I'm gonna
or
buy this
yeah.
kid. I'm gonna buy him a birthday cake on his birthday.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
those are the
Yeah.
things I'm gonna use the money for. And it's like that's good in a sense, but the thing that I see is like there's too much like fear to do anything, and then, like money's
Yeah.
something that people don't talk about a lot, and they have like this weird relationship with it or understanding of it. I say for myself too that I don't even understand completely. I haven't had this like total like I've talked a little bit with you, that I've invested in certain things here and there, and
Yeah.
like I haven't told you, and I don't think I've mentioned on here, but I used to do e-commerce online, and I was and the same thing as you. Like I dove into it without knowing much,
Yeah.
and I basically lost a lot of money. I broke
Yeah.
even, but I didn't have an understanding to be able to hold on to my money and know how to throw it back in. You know what I mean? It's just like how to invest it again. You know, it's that, and that the thing I think people don't understand a lot of times is that
Hmm.
to invest into something, it has to, like you said, anything you do is gonna take a risk if you want it to be successful for yourself. If
Yeah.
you want to have any
Yeah.
sort of gain for it, you know. And
Hmm.
if people go off, like if I had gone based off the decision that I did a few years ago of doing that, and that I lost a bunch of money, or I didn't profit, you know, a great amount, then I would totally stop and not do it. But it might be just like that must have been a bad idea, or I just didn't know what I was doing. You know,
Yeah, of
obviously
course.
now I learn more, and it's like I'm understanding that okay, I have to take these risks because this risk, this investment, whatever it is, has the possibility to make me more money or to help me become more known or to have market myself better or whatever it might be, you know. And then
Yeah.
if it doesn't, I have to be willing to lose that, you know. So that was
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like a little point that I wanted to like make sure, because like that's one that I believe in, and that I think a lot of other people kind of have like a weird understand. Because I've had conversation with people, they're like, why would you do that?
Spend.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, why
Yeah.
would you spend the money on this like sort of advertisement, or you spend money on, you know, trying to get this sort of thing? Like, what do you think? What who do you think you are, or something? You know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like I have to do it because if I don't know, maybe if I spend $1 on this, it's gonna end up making me 10. I have no idea, you know, or
Yeah.
it's
Of
gonna
course.
give
Yeah.
me
Yeah.
the value of one person to, you know, that's gonna be here forever. They're gonna stick around, or you know. So I think that's one thing that I just kind of wanted to make a point on that, you know, that on
No.
top of
Yeah.
what you had said.
I want to kind of add on to that. So I think you're obviously right, and it was like I was saying, like you have to take that risk. But I feel like, especially like in our industries, and I'm speaking clothing and I'm speaking podcast as well, you know that there's a lot of famous entrepreneurs. I'm not saying you're not famous, but and neither myself, but there's a lot of very recognizable entrepreneurs, you know, on
Mm-hmm.
podcasts. You know, you have Gary Vee, you have Lewis Howes, you have what's his name? The guy from UFC,
Joe
Rogan, what's
Rogan.
his name? Joe
Joe
Rogan,
Rogan.
and those are just to name a few, you know, on podcasts, um and then those are podcasts that people listen to worldwide, you know, and obviously you want to make an investment that's going to benefit your business and boost up your business to get somewhere where you want to be, or be a little more recognizable than you already are. So if that involves you spending a couple of dimes more, then if you feel like it's going to benefit your business, why not? You know, at the end of the day, it's your business, and you're willing to take that risk that somebody else isn't, just because they're trying to play it safe, and that person isn't going to get anywhere, you know. And if you do, then people are going to see like, damn, like, and that's the thing that you were saying in the beginning, you know, like people don't see behind the scenes, like how much money you spend, how much time is taken from your family, from you, from your personal time, because you've invested so much time in your business. Like people don't see that stuff, you know. It's not until you're somewhere when they're like, damn, that's cool, they're there. I want to do that too. Okay, you can do it too, but you also need to understand how the process, you know, and how much you're going to spend, the sacrifices you need to make, and the investment you need to make to be able to get there, you know. So and even for myself, like for example, in the clothing industry nowadays, on Instagram and Snapchat and Twitter and all that, you have several companies that, like for example myself, that I wouldn't say compete with, because I feel like at the end of the day, if you see everything as a competition, it's gonna it things are gonna kind of go wrong for you, because you're trying to be better than the other person. At the end of the day, I feel like each brand should have its own unique personal thing. So, you know, for me, like it's traditions, and then there's, you know, this new brand that just started. Above all, you have Rise and Grind, you have I Still Apparel, you have Aggregate Affinity, you have all these companies that just started, that are doing their thing, and they're all unique in their own way. You know, each one has something to bring to the table, something different, whether it may have been quality, whether it may be the way they communicate with their followers, whether it may be, you know, the prices or whatnot. But yeah, I feel like each company takes their own kind of risks, that's going to benefit their own brand for whatever reason they might have, you know. So, and people don't see that kind of stuff. So yeah, I just wanted to add on to that, to what you said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's something like, you know, like, because like, you know, us, we're not so I say like within like like the Hispanic community, and then within our
Yeah.
the community of our church and everything,
Yeah.
for a while, it's always considered to be like the lowest of the working class, the people
Yeah.
that just take up they take up whatever job offers, even if it's like the lowest wage possible, and
Yeah.
it's like to be able to we've been told to to try to find from everywhere, from people that are big, like you said, Gary Vee and all the other people,
Yeah.
and then other people within our own community as well, to look for prosperity, to look for having bigger dreams. I was
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about this with somebody the other day, when it's like, let's say if your dream is to buy a $1,000 car, or let's even do it even simpler. Your dream is to have $100. That's like the dream of your entire life, right?
Yeah.
If your dream is to have $100 and you're gonna just live your life going to that dream of having $100, if you're getting paid $10 an hour, you have that within 1 to 2 days.
Yep.
And
Yep.
then you're just like, okay, I'm just gonna keep doing that, my dream, every day. It's like, hold up, why are you setting the bar so low? You know,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like,
Of
why
course.
don't you say I want 10,000? Because
And I
now,
work for it.
yeah, because now it's like, okay, that's gonna take a long time, or I have to figure out a way to make $1,000 an hour. I have to figure out a way to do this, because if that's your
Oh, but you know
if
what?
you how you
You
can
know
go
what?
ahead.
Sorry that I interrupted you. I just thought about this, but
No, you're
I
good.
feel like you're right. You're right. But at the same time, like if you put it into different perspective, it's a lot. Well, even for me, like sometimes I'll be like, okay, I want to make this much money, but then I'm like, why am I setting that? So like you say, why am I setting it so low? But because I already made that. But then I'm like, okay, I feel like it's okay sometimes. I get what you're saying, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I thought about this because I think it's very like cool to say it, or to like people to hear it. So it's like, if you have that dream of $100 a day, that's cool. That's cool because obviously there's businesses that make so much more, right, in one day. And I don't want to mean business, but I mean people. So because you're talking about a person, so if that
Mm-hmm.
person has that dream every day to make $100, but then they already made, like you said, in one day, and they keep saying to 100. I feel like if you kind of had that mentality, I feel like it's cool because you're not gonna. How do I explain this? Um, crap. How do I totally forgot what I was gonna say. Sorry. So
You're
if
good. You're
if you
good.
have the 100, I feel like if you have the $100, it's okay because you're thinking like in that broke mindset. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
you're like, okay, I have so much money, but I don't have so much money because if you know you have way more much money, you're gonna make more money. You're just gonna go maybe spending it, investing on stuff you shouldn't invest it on, throwing it away. But if you keep that mentality, like I'm only able to make $100, then it's cool because you're actually making way more, and then you have all that other money saved or put aside, you know, that you can eventually invest it in, or use it in something else. I don't know if you kind of heard that phrase where they say like, "Oh, work like you're poor," or something like that, or I don't know how
Mm-hmm.
it goes, but I don't know if you kind of get where I'm getting, kind of get where
I
I'm
think
coming
it's
from.
like, are you saying like, if like, I'm gonna give you an example just to like kind of so I could see
Yeah,
if I understand you. If it's
yeah.
like, if I have if I make $100 a day, I should save like 90 of it, and then like only spend 10 of it. Is that kind of what you're getting at? Like you should like, even if that's like where you're at, like you should take the steps with whatever you have, like like make sacrifices and do that. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Kind of, but I feel like it's because I can't explain it now. Like I kind of had it in my head, but I can't kind of explain it. But it's kind of where I'm getting from because I feel like once somebody makes a certain amount of money, I feel like it's kind of like celebrities, like celebrities. A lot of times they'll make a certain amount of money, and then like, oh, like there's those one hit wonders. You know what I mean? Those people that are
Oh, okay.
famous for like a dumb reason, and then they'll like eventually all of a sudden fall off, and what happened to that person? Or like even like celebrities, like they'll make so much money and they go spending it on so much stuff, but because they know how much money they're making, you know what I mean? And I feel like if you have $100 a day and you're making more than $100 a day because you're working, instead of working the 8 hours and you already made the 100, or the 10 hours or whatever, you know, you already made those $100. But if you keep that mindset where like, no, like all I have is $100, then it's okay because you're making way more than that, but you're not acting like you're rich, or you have way more money. You're still thinking, you're still working like you're broke. You know what I mean? Because at the end, I
Okay.
feel like that's what it should be like. When it comes to business, I feel that's what it should be like.
Like you should be almost like, I think I get you now. Like it's like you should almost be, even if you're making $10 or if you're making $100 an hour, you should still have like that work, that hard work ethic. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah, basically, yeah, kind of, yeah. That's kind of what I'm getting.
Okay,
So I know
okay.
it took me a while. Sorry.
No, 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 that's fine. You just like, I forgot what word you said. One word just made it like, like I got it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So that's it. Yeah,
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 exactly. That's what I was thinking. Like so, you should still have that same work ethic. Because like if you see like I like one person that you've mentioned that I like a lot is like Gary V. You know,
yeah. Of
and
course,
he
yeah,
always
yeah.
says, like if he's like, hey, if he said when he was like, he's like, I didn't have a weekend. I worked every single day of my life from 7 a.m. to 2 in the morning. I slept 3 hours. I didn't hang out with my family. I did, it's like he
Yeah,
took
yeah,
it obviously to an extreme, and other people
yeah. Of
might not
course,
have to do that. But
yeah.
the message he's saying is like, I had to work my butt off to be able to do
Hmm.
this, and even now that I still have all this, that he's
I'm
like
still
so
working. Yeah, yeah,
successful. Yeah, he says the same thing. He's like, I sleep. He's like, he said it before, like in keynotes and stuff. He's like, I slept 2 hours today, and I haven't slept in the last 2 days. And he's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
because I got to get on the plane, and while I was on the plane, I had a meeting, and then while I did this, I did that. It's like,
yeah,
why? It's like if he has so much money, why is he working so hard? He's like, to be able to keep that, to keep that going.
yeah. Of course. Yeah, yeah,
So yeah, that's a thing too. Like I liked how you mentioned that. I like that was a good thing. But
yeah,
one thing that I wanted to, like where I was going at too, it kind of plays
yeah.
with this. But if you set the bar really low, set the bar really low for what you want, right? Even like
Yeah.
let's say you keep that mentality of what you want, right?
Mm.
You set this bar so low that you're not gonna be able to, even imagine pursuing something bigger, right?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
if
Of
you're just
course.
like, I've said this before to other people, and to family members, they say, man, I feel so worried about this and that. I don't have the money to do this. And I said, like, well, like, wouldn't you like to have something like this, or wouldn't you like to, be able to do this? Like, maybe not even do it, but be able to do it if you wanted to. And they're like,
Yeah,
no, I don't want to. It's like they say no because I can't. I know I can't. I'm like, well, why don't you? You can dream that you want it, and now you're already gonna be intrinsically more motivated to be able to reach that thing. You know,
yeah, of course.
like if
Yeah, yeah.
somebody that wants to have let's say somebody that wants to have like a nice house, if they never
Hmm.
even think about for a second of buying a house, and they're just like, I'm just gonna rent the rest of my life, you know
Yeah,
and it's just
yeah.
like, it's like, wouldn't you like your house to be like, yeah, it'd be nice, but I can't do that. I only make enough
Hmm.
for rent. It's like, okay, well, maybe that's something you should try to strive for, because maybe it's not going to be tomorrow or in a year. Maybe it's going to be in 10 years, but in 10 years, you're going
Yeah,
to have that, and you could leave it to your kids, or you could leave it for something else, It's like, that's one thing that
yeah,
I feel like is a lot of times people push themselves down already too low, you know?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
They don't take it seriously enough, and like if I think about this, I remember we
Hmm.
had it just on the free app that we use. It was on Anchor,
Hmm.
and it's like, if I had just said it right there, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna leave it there, because why would who's gonna listen to me on Spotify or on Apple Podcast,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
it's like,
Hmm.
now that's like where everybody goes and listens. I have like 80% of people that listen on Apple Podcast,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
like, and like with, like, I assume with you too, if you just said, oh, I'm just gonna make like 5 shirts for my friends and family, it's like, if I just think like that, I'm never gonna get to a point where it's like, maybe I have a whole warehouse full of this, and
Yeah,
people
yeah,
are
of
buying
course.
hundreds and thousands a day, it's like,
Yeah.
why, that's one thing that I feel like a lot of people too much limit themselves and push themselves down in that sense.
Yeah, I feel like people should dare to dream. People should whatever they think about, whatever you actually think about can actually I feel like it's all in your head, like if you think about
Mm-hmm.
all the negative stuff, you think about the bad things that are gonna happen, or about how much money you might lose, or the wrong decision you might make. That's basically what you're gonna portray. But if you think about the opposite, you think about actually being successful. You actually think about, actually, I can get that house. I can't buy this for my kids. I can't do this in the future. Like you said, it might not be happen now, but I want it. I'm gonna work my butt out to get it. And even if it's not now, but it's in a couple of years, I'm gonna make it happen. That's how it happens. I feel like it's all in your
Mm-hmm.
head, and people don't dare to do that, or people don't actually take that risk. So yeah, I feel like yeah, that's definitely a good point, and a good way you put it. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing that I always mention to people because like I was always in that spot too. It's like like who do I think I am? It's like you can't do that stuff.
Yeah.
It's like you have to have a little bit of confidence in yourself.
Mhm.
And then
Yep.
have
Yep.
the pride to be able to know that if like okay if I failed, I tried at least. I went out
Oh
there and
yeah.
risked it. To be able to do
Yeah,
this.
dude. Yeah, it's crazy because like like I told you earlier in the beginning, like for me when I had just started, I feel like my head was in the wrong place. I wasn't thinking about the actual business, thinking more about the fame. When I feel, and I still feel like this because I feel like that's how you should feel until you obviously start noticing things. But I felt like I felt like I was somebody already when I wasn't, and even to this day,
Mm-hmm.
like I feel like I know people know me, but I don't feel like I'm in the right place to say, oh, I'm famous. Like I know everybody doesn't know. Like if I put myself, if I'm setting the bar a little bit higher right now, because obviously when I started, I feel like this is kind of the bar that I wanted, but now that I'm here, like I'm setting the bar a little bit higher, just like you said, because I know what I'm capable of now, and I know how much work I've put into it, how much sacrifice, and I know what I want, and I know it's gonna take time, but eventually I want to be up there. I felt like for me it was, and honestly, bro, like for me, when I did the business, I told myself, I said, you know what, like I don't know why I said that, but I felt like that was the goal for me. I was like, I want to be featured on you know how there's stores that like sell other stores clothing. So like you
Mm-hmm.
have Paxson, like
Oh,
Paxson
okay.
sells like Adidas, Paxson sells Playboy, Paxson sells all these other brand name stores, right, in their store. So that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of what I wanted. I was like, oh, I want to be featured, at Paxson. I want to be featured on Tilly's. And then I thought about it, and I was like, when I started, my company started rising a little bit and being a little more recognized. I was like, man, like, why do I want to be there? Like, why can't I have my own store? Like, why can't I sell my own stuff in my own exclusive place? You know? So I felt like
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of, once you start, like I said, once you start seeing things, you start realizing what you're capable of, like what you said, like you can actually set the bar a little bit higher, and it might be a little more difficult, but you know what you're capable of, and if you put the faith in yourself, why not? Why not? Why not take that risk? Be like, yeah, hell yeah, like I can make it happen. Like if I made this happen, why wouldn't I make that happen? So yeah, I think what you said, that's pretty cool, man. Like that's kind of what I feel like happened to me, because I felt like I set the bar really high, and I felt like it took not a total twist, but a little twist, and now I set the bar even higher than that. To
Mm-hmm.
have to be exclusive, which at the end of the day I think is pretty cool to be exclusive. So yeah, man, that's pretty dope.
Yeah, exactly. That's too. It's like like you're setting your own standards. Too. It's
Yeah,
like I don't have to be. Who are they to like? Who is Paxton to say that I'm good enough to be in their store? You know,
yeah,
maybe I'm too good to be there. It's like that's something that like also too like sorry Paxton if you're hearing no, but if that's something
yeah.
that that it also has to take part of one. It's like a decision that's
Hmm.
also like you have to have trust in yourself. So that's pretty
Yeah,
cool
yeah,
too.
yeah. That
Okay,
was pretty
one
cool,
thing
dude.
I wanted to ask you was
Yeah,
so we were talking a lot about kind of like how like your mind was in it and everything and
yeah.
how you got the mindset of it, how you were thinking of it and everything. But like now that you're like, how would you say your structure is that the way you structure things now? Like, do you have like employees that are like full time? Do you work on this full time, or like how is it that you're managing this like compared to the beginning? You kind of mentioned in the beginning that you didn't have much guidance, you didn't have much of an idea or
Yeah,
a plan. So
yeah.
how would you compare that to how you're doing it now?
That's a very good question, but I feel that's gonna benefit a lot of people that actually listen
Mm-hmm.
to this and are actually like wanting to like start their own business.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. Um, actually, to be honest, bro, in the beginning, like I said, I'm gonna repeat it just so people can kind of know and um know where I'm coming from. So, um, in the beginning, like I said, I dove into it without knowing. I didn't do any research. I just did it. But I feel like as time started passing, I realized, and social media on Instagram, started becoming very, very popular. On Instagram, people posting photos, videos, and whatnot. Instagram was the thing. And it kind of still
Yeah.
is. But I feel like for the wrong reasons because Instagram was very popular for photos, and now it's more. I don't know if you noticed, there's more videos on there than actual like photos. But
Yeah.
anyway, so um with that being said, I started realizing that a lot of people would read a lot, and then I did my research for like people that I kind of looked up to, or I heard about, were all these entrepreneurs. Like Gary Vee was, one of the most, and for me, I think one of the most influential entrepreneurs that has ever existed, and knows the game and has his tactics and has his way of encouraging people. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
and he's real, of course. He tells you things straight out. So I started looking at his podcast, started listening to what he was saying, and I started reading books. I realized that reading books was also very beneficial, so I started reading books, and I felt like that's kind of how I learned, I understood. But in regards to the structure, so I was trying to think about how I was putting it together. So I started reading books and whatnot, and each book that I would read and all these podcasts that I would listen to they would always mention, all these entrepreneurs would say that you have to have a structure. You have to know how much you're gonna spend. You have to, if you have employees, how much you're gonna pay them and all that little stuff. But they
Yeah.
all said that you needed that the best thing to do was either to write stuff down, or whenever you got inspired, whenever you can do something, remember it somehow. So I felt like, to me, I wanted, so going back to that whole CEO thing, I felt like to me it was, I wanted to be a CEO, but now that I'm there, like, I don't really want to be that. But with that being said, I felt like I needed to hire people because a lot of these people would say, oh, you need to have people to be able to do your things. But I felt like for me, the best thing was to not hire people because I was gonna lose money having these people do something that I can do. So
Mm-hmm.
in the beginning, like, when the only people I would use, literally the only people I would use was my cousins, and shout out to them if they're listening, to my cousins that they helped me. So whenever I would have a photo shoot, I would use the same people, my cousins, and I wouldn't pay them, but I would give them free stuff. That was my way of
Mm-hmm.
saying thank you, for myself, because I didn't have money to pay them to have a photo shoot. That was like, an hour, 2 hours. So
Yeah.
they were very and they've always been very helpful in that sense. Like when I told them about the idea of starting my business and having photo shoots, and they were totally with it. They were like, "Yeah, I'm down. Let me know. Make it happen." So I would just use them, but I never really hired anybody because I didn't want. First of all, I didn't want to. I felt like that was my mindset, spending money. I didn't want to spend money, but now that like I'm a little more understanding and know how to invest and what not to invest in and whatnot, all that information. Even now, I don't spend money. I haven't really hired anybody because it's like Gary Vee has, and I go back to Gary Vee because you've listened to him. You know what he says. He's always saying
Mm-hmm.
that there's stuff you can do on your own. So all these stuff that I've done up to this day, like, it's stuff that I can do on my own. And I feel like a lot of people think that you need to hire people, but at the same time, like, I feel like you'll know when you need to hire people, like when you're so maybe overwhelmed with work. It's just so much that you can't do it on your own. You need somebody to
That it
help you.
affects
you know
it too
but
much.
yeah, but I feel like now, for me right now at this point, excuse me, I feel like I don't need anybody right now. Not that I don't want anybody, or I don't want people to think I'm saying that
But
I'm
you can
cool to have
manage.
anybody. Nothing like that. Yeah, no, I can manage. I can manage right now because what I do and the way I do things is like I don't really need anybody. Sometimes I do feel like I need somebody, maybe like on the social media end, because I'm very bad at maybe posting things more consistently, or
Mm-hmm.
or 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 being on social media more. I am kind of bad at that simply because I have a family now. So I have 2 kids and my wife, and I have to help my wife with my kids, and I need to babysit them. I'm gonna take my daughter to school and still go to work and still, help out in other things, maybe in church, and then still my business. So I have a lot of stuff that I need to do. So I feel like if one thing I lack and I might need help in is in hiring somebody, it might be in the social media end. But up to now, like you said, like I've been able to manage. So I would maybe recommend and tell people if they don't need to and you could do things on your own, do it on your own, because you're saving a lot of money. Because and I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, I should hire somebody to help me with social media. But then I was like, okay, but if I hire somebody, like, how many days are gonna work for me? Like, how much are you gonna pay them a day? And like, what if they do so much and they want money? Like, and I was just, what, like, no, like, I could do it. Like, I've done it to this day, so I'll manage it somehow. But yeah, I feel like for me right now, I haven't really needed anybody. Like, to that point where like I need, you know what I mean? Like I have to have somebody. I don't need anybody right now, but because I've simply been able to manage. Excuse me, but
Yeah, yeah.
uh, eventually after time, I feel like I might, but right now, not really.
Mm-hmm. Okay, one thing I want to ask too was like, cause a lot of times, like, and I felt myself like, I don't know if you've ever been like, cause like I feel like, at least for me, and like maybe others, that there might be some sort of fear or doubt of trying to get into stuff, and trying to get into things
Yeah,
and figuring things out. So you might turn to like researching and try to figure things out. And I've turned to
yeah,
places like YouTube, and I listen to something and it's all, just like, you gotta change how you think and stuff. And then at the end, they offer me a course, and it's just like something,
yeah.
and I'm like, man, I feel like this was total waste of time. So like the
Hmm.
thing that I want to ask you is like, when you what like, cause you were doing it like on your own, right? Just like,
Hmm.
just putting money, buying the shirt, selling it, like, maybe did you have a website in the beginning or something?
I think, yeah, I had a website. I had a website,
Okay.
but it's like I told you, like I felt like I didn't put enough effort into the actual business sense or marketing and whatnot, because I would make the stuff, I would upload them onto my website, but that was it. Like I didn't promote it, like I didn't tell people enough, like, oh, my stuff is on my website, go buy something, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of where
Yeah.
I lacked. That's me
Okay.
personally. That's what, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But the thing, okay. So what I was getting at, is like, like I want to ask you this because it's like something more technical and more like direct about it, about what you do, and
Hmm.
obviously you don't have to disclose too much about it. But when was the time that you realized? Because I assume maybe you were doing it on like your personal bank account and your personal things. Was there a moment that you had to, when you felt like it was necessary to separate it, or if you haven't done it, like, do you feel like that's approaching and how you have to structure that sort of stuff?
Yeah, I felt like, you know what, to be honest, now that I think about it, I don't think there was a point in time where I felt like it needed to it was like something where I was like, I couldn't handle it or I had to have it separate. But I think it was more because I saw it in my dad, because he had his, like I said, he had his business, and well, when he would pay me, like he would pay me with his business checks. So he had his business checks and his personal checks. But as a business owner, that's just what you have to do, to be able to separate your personal stuff and your business stuff. So that, for me, that's how I did it. I said, you know what, like, my dad has it for his business. Like, why wouldn't I do it? And then I remember talking to my dad about like business and whatnot, about how I was doing and what I was doing, and he told me like, you need to separate your business and your personal, because that way, he's like, and your business stuff you need to use for your business. You can't mix this. It's just, um I forgot the word, but in Spanish it's the consejos that your parents give you, for those type of stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
the advice that you that's the word I was looking for in English, advice. That was the
Yeah.
advice he gave me. He said, when you have your business, you have to separate your business and your personal stuff. So it's like, if you're making money in your business, use that same money to reinvest back into the business. He's like, and then
Mm-hmm.
whatever money you make, you have to pay yourself that money. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. So that's when I decided, okay, you know what, he's right. Like, open up a business account, run my money through there, and that's what I did. Because before, I was doing everything with my personal account, but because, like I said, I didn't know, so I would just do everything at the same time, or do everything together. I would mix everything, you know what I mean? And now,
Mm-hmm.
I have my business account now, like, um uh I basically use my business money to reinvest into my business. And then my personal money, if for whatever reason I need a little bit more money to help my business, then I'll get some from my personal and put it in there because at the end of the day, it's the same thing. It's all for me. You know what I mean? Or for my family. So
Mm-hmm.
so that's basically how I handle that. So I that's how I came about starting or having opening up separating my business and my personal because the advice that my dad gave me to do that, and because I saw it when he would pay me for work, because I was basically his worker and he had his business checks and his personal checks. So that's how I came about it. So
So and then when you like, did you do that? Do you when you said you did that? Did you do it like right off the bat? You did that?
when he told me right off the bat, yeah, like as soon as he told me, I did that, but I didn't do that for maybe about mm, I don't even know how long, but well, I've had it for 3 years. So yeah, you know what? Maybe when we had that conversation, because I remember having a conversation, but I think that conversation might have been a couple of months into, I would say uh maybe about half a year, 6 months that I had gotten into it, into the business and whatnot. That's when because when I started the business and I started like trying to sell stuff, I did it through direct messages. So I would hit
Mm.
people up through via DM, or I would hit people up on text on iMessage on my phone, asking people to buy my stuff. So that's when it started, and then that's when I did research and about having a website, opening up a website. So I opened my website, my platform, and then it asked me for my business account or for my card number to be able to pay the the fee every month to have my website and all that stuff. So I would use my personal one, and it wasn't until I had a conversation with my dad about the business that I think he asked me for my website or something like that, how I was doing it, and that's when he gave me that advice, and then that's when I was like, cool, no, I need to separate my stuff. So that's when I opened my business account. I changed my personal card from my website to my business account, my business card, and all that stuff. So that maybe I'd say about 6 months. That's when I that, but that's because I guess it happened. If I would have known before, of course I would have done it in the beginning, but I didn't know. So as soon as I had that conversation, I felt like it was good for me to jump on it and do it right away. That way, I was able to separate everything because I feel like if I wouldn't have done that, maybe I would have maybe mixed up all my money and it would have been worse for me and whatnot. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Yeah,
it,
because
it
then
took like
you don't have it separated already beforehand, and you just see
yeah,
this big
yeah, of
number in your
course,
bank account.
yeah, and then
So
you
the
mix
one
your
thing I want
money
to
and then
ask
you
you
lose money.
was,
Yeah.
yeah, that's true. So one thing I wanted to ask you was, because I know, like, because I've talked about it with some friends of mine, and now
Hmm.
I'm kind of losing it too, but they feel
Yeah.
like I've had a conversation with friends of mine that want to start businesses, and they're like, man, but I need to make sure that I have everything ready before I go over to register my business at the bank or wherever it is. It's like, is it the like a how prepared should somebody be to do that, or is it not that big of a thing? Is like, is that one of the fundamental things that you should probably, if you're taking it seriously, probably have in place?
Yeah, in regards to I feel like excuse me, how do I start this? Yeah, well, basically, I feel like you should, first of all, when you make your business, you should obviously know like what you're gonna call it and whatnot, and you should
Mm-hmm.
be aware, of course, that it's obviously you're gonna have to spend money somehow, some way. It may be a lot, it may be a little bit, but to a business, you have to spend money eventually. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Besides your production, besides in investments and whatnot, you're gonna have to spend money on your business because, for example, for me, um, I don't remember who told me. Oh, I had a friend that he was working, I think, in real estate, and I told him about the idea of me doing the business. He told me straight out like, "Hey, bro, like if you do your business, you do know that you have to get a DBA, right?" And what is that? A DBA basically is doing business as. So basically that means that you're gonna do your business, but you're not doing it under your name. In this case, for me, it was Misham Hernandez, my name. So um, I couldn't do business as Misham Hernandez. I had to do business as my business. So that's where I needed the name. But in order to get that DBA to be able to be legal, you have the DBA. You need to pay for the DBA. So I thought, okay, cool. Like all I needed was a DBA. So when I went down to the business office to get the DBA, I found out then and there that I had to pay another fee for And I'm basically going to give this information out for people that are trying to do this and they don't know what to do exactly, you know. But this is the way I
Mm-hmm.
did it. This is what I was supposed to do. I don't know if it's different for every other business because I haven't ventured into every other business. But for me, when I did it, I had to get my, and then I had to pay another fee to put my. I
You had
guess
to
what
get
they
your
do
what?
is
Sorry, it cut out.
I need to get a DBA. It's DBA is
Okay.
basically doing business as, and then once you get the
Mm-hmm.
DBA at the office, the same clerk that helps you tells you you need to pay a fee so that we can put your name in the newspaper, so that in case somebody else has that name, they can come out and say, you know what, like that name's already taken, it's mine. And then you have to change your name. If nobody comes in 4 weeks to claim that name, then you're good. Like that name is yours already. You're good. You're set. So I did that. I had to pay that fee. That's a little more expensive. That's over $100 that you have to pay just for that. And then the DBA. I don't mind giving this information too. So the DBA, I think I paid like $27 for the DBA, and the paper thing was over $100. I don't remember exactly how much, but it was over $100. And then I think it was like 120 or something like that, or 140. I'm not sure exactly,
Mm-hmm.
but that was the newspaper. And then you need to pay, and whenever you want to sell something, whenever you're a business, you're gonna like sell a product, whatever it might be, clothing, food, whatever it might be, you have to get a seller's permit. And the seller's permit is 96 bucks, 95 bucks, the seller's permit. And once you have all those three, then you're good to go. Like you can eventually start selling. Because if you don't, that's the legal way of making things happen. So that's what the clerk that helped me told me, that you need to have all these three things. And she's like, you can have the DBA, you can have the you can pay for the newspaper. It's like, but if you don't have your sales permit, you basically can't sell. And if you sell, you can get in trouble. So of course I was like, okay, cool.
Okay.
Like I need to do this. So I did it. And yeah, basically that's the information you need to have, because a lot of people, don't get me wrong, I feel like a lot of people think, oh well, I'll get away with it. You will get away with it, of course, but once you start making so much money, and if you're telling people you're making so much money, or you're getting money deposited into your account, it's not a business account, but you're getting money deposited into your account. Like, the bank sees that, the government sees that, the wrong people see that, they're gonna be like, okay,
IRS.
cool, like
Yeah.
you're making so much money, so where's this money coming from? There's only so much you can tell them. Like, oh well, it's because I work and I make this much. Okay, but it doesn't add up. You're getting way more money deposited into your account. Where's this money coming from? So that's obviously another topic, but those are things that you need to understand. So and this is wrong to say, but if you really want to get away with it, you get paid cash, or you have people pay you cash. But even
Yeah.
then, like if you wanna do things right, you need to set up your business accounts. You need to have it all straightened out, or organize your website, and people pay you through there, and then you do your taxes and whatnot. So that's basically a different topic, but that this is the legal way to do it. That this is what I do for my business. Like I said, I don't know if it's different for any other business, but that's how I did it. But yeah, that's and because I did the research, because the guy told me, and I went online and looked it up, and it said, yeah, in order to start a business, you need to have your DBA and all that stuff. So that's basically good to know when you're starting a business.
And then with the seller permit, is that something you have to buy every single time you're gonna like launch a new product, or is just like for like it's like a license for like maybe like a year or two or something?
I think it's two. I think it's a 2 or 3 year thing. I don't have it on me, but on my phone, but I'll check later. But I think it's for like a certain time frame. I think she told me it was every 2 years you need to like renew it. So you get it one
Mm-hmm.
time when you start your business, and then you have to renew it every 2 years, something like that.
Okay. Yeah, because
Yeah.
that's like one thing that's like because a lot of times it's like people just they might do it like you said, like cash, or maybe they're just like, oh, just cash app it to me or do this or that.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's like
yeah,
that might work for a little while or whatever, if it's like not a lot of money.
yeah. But
But
when it's a
if
lot,
it starts, yeah, yeah, yeah. And like a lot is not even like if it's like more than like $5,000 or something after like within a year or something, that's already
yeah.
like it's kind of like it's gonna raise flags. So that's like another
Well,
thing that I
even
thought was like important because too many people try doing it like like that, like, oh, just cash at me or something. So that's kind of why I
yeah.
wanted to mention that, and I'm glad you explained it. You were sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt you.
No, it's okay. You're fine. You're
Okay.
fine. I
Yeah,
wasn't I
man.
wasn't gonna say
That's
anything.
okay. Yeah, man. That's really. And then your on your company, there, do you have a an LLC? You have a sole proprietorship? What you open up as?
Right now I'm a sole proprietorship, but I plan on doing. I don't know exactly what I want to do yet. I wanted to do a corporation, but I'm not sure exactly what yet. Simply because I'm still doing my research in regards on what's gonna benefit my company because I have other plans with my company to expand. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if a corporation is best for me or an LLC, but basically right now I'm still doing my research and I'm gonna meet with the clerk that helped me with my business to open it to discuss
Mm-hmm.
what I want to do. But right now I'm also a proprietorship and that's how I started. That's how I am right now. So but I plan on changing it because, like I said, I want to expand.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's
And
basically,
for
and you
some
have to pay
people
for
that
that, of
might
course.
not
So yeah.
yeah, for some people that might not understand, would you explain kind of like what are the benefits or the safeties maybe behind a sole proprietorship? Like why did you make the decision to do that instead of like an LLC or like because that's like the most common what people do is an LLC or something. But what was the decision in doing that one?
A sole proprietorship was simply because I honestly only did that. I didn't really know the difference between all of them. Like I read what it was, but I still didn't understand it. Like I'm the type of person that I need somebody to sit down with me and explain it to me literally and give me like
Yeah.
examples or stuff like that so I can understand it. And I've always been like that. And I still am like that. So when I read that I didn't really know, and I went into the office like just knowing like okay like I kind of like it sounds wrong or funny or whatever, but like I kind of went in there like going like with the mentality of like when you go into a dealer and you want to buy a car and you're like they tell you oh they're gonna try to sell you this they're gonna try to sell you that but just say no you don't want it you know so that's kind of how I went in there. I was like
Yeah.
cool like I'm gonna go into it. I want to get sole proprietorship and that's what I'm gonna do. I don't care what she says like that's what I'm gonna get.
Uh
So
huh.
she asked me. I remember her asking me like what do you want to do? You want a corporation, LLC, partnership, all that stuff. And I told her I want to be a sole proprietorship. She said are you sure? And I was like yeah. So I went to sole proprietorship because um, sole proprietorship basically means simply sole basically means just on your own, one person. So I was like, it's about me, and I didn't want to add anybody onto it. So I was like, I want to be the one to like make the decisions of everything. It's not the exact meaning of that, but that's basically how I thought about it. Like sole proprietorship meant just me. I'm the only one that owns it right now. Um, and basically that's how I want to keep it. And not until I'm ready to
Mm-hmm.
expand my business or to grow it in a different way. Then if it involves me having to change it, then by all means I will because it's the risk I'm willing to take or the best option for my business. So that's basically
Mm-hmm.
why I chose sole proprietorship. And to be honest, like I said, I don't really know much of the differences between all the other ones, but unfortunately, I don't know all the differences. But um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's basically why I did that one. Yeah,
No. Yeah. That's because like I asked that one too because personally I'm thinking about doing it very soon.
yeah,
Thinking about doing something like that very soon. And then I also know friends that also like they've been very confused about that thing as well. And I don't know if there's other people that have never like thought about it or they've never questioned it, and then maybe this could help them in some sort of way, kind of like figure out what they might want to do or the idea that they have.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Man, okay, I think I think we got through like a lot of stuff right now, bro. I really appreciate you taking the time. We're at about an hour, 10 minutes on here. I appreciate you taking these
Damn.
70 minutes to be able to sit down and talk with me, and to be able
Yeah,
to either because I know, like you said, you like, and you got everybody here heard. He's a your husband, you're a father, you're a business owner. You have all these different things, and when we were getting this set up, you told me you had a business, you had personal things, you had things you had to deal with, and I appreciate you taking the time to be able to come out here and get on the call with me. I think this is something really beneficial that's going to help a lot of people and maybe even inspire some people to be able. I know it's helped me. It's helped me a little bit hearing you talk about your experiences, the way you even your mistakes. It's helped me to
yeah,
figure out like kind of like the route I want to go down or the things I should keep in mind. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So I just want to say thank you again. If you want to go and let everybody know a little bit about you, shout yourself out. Let everybody know where they can go follow you and get everything at.
Yeah. Oh, so basically they can follow me on Instagram. It's traditions underscore co. I'm working currently on my Snapchat and my Facebook. I have another brand under Traditions Co called Traditions Fitness that you can also follow on Instagram. It's Traditions underscore Fitness. And on Facebook, Traditions at Traditions Fitness. And I haven't done a Snapchat for that. And then on Twitter, you can follow me at Traditions underscore Co as well. But yeah, I'm still working on that type of stuff because I haven't it's like I told you a little while ago. I'm kind of bad at that like social media type of stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm still learning that stuff and I'm still working on it. So yeah, and I encourage everybody to follow, of course, you, the Lama podcast. Like what you're doing is pretty dope, and especially for us people in the church community, I feel like it's a very cool idea what you've done, and it's pretty cool. And I'm definitely gonna be listening to you, and I'm gonna definitely, I'm definitely gonna listen back to this conversation we're having just to see where I lack and where we can improve probably. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and also I also encourage everybody that decides to listen to this, and when they do, if you guys decide to actually start a business, like don't hesitate. I feel like the hardest part is always deciding to start, you know? So if you're lacking on the decision making, whether I shouldn't, or you're scared because I'm not gonna, or I'm gonna spend so much money, or how much money do I need? Don't worry about it. Like you're gonna learn eventually. You're gonna lose money. That's how all businesses start. Every successful businesses that have started, whether it may be Nike, Adidas, all these top brand names, they all start by losing money. They don't make the first couple of years, and after that, little by little, based on the work ethic, keep working for it, keep thriving and whatnot. You eventually be successful. And you start seeing it. You just keep going up from there. So I encourage everybody to, if you have that dream of opening up your business, do it, do it. Ask questions, do your research, and hopefully we'll be able to sit with them and have another podcast with them too, bro. Featured
Oh
on the
yeah, of
Land
course.
podcast.
Yeah. Hey, that'd be cool. Somebody, if somebody else gets on here and they said that this helped them in some way, like I've mentioned it to like other people before, and then I don't know if you've ever had an experience like this, but there's been like on the last episode I had, we talked a lot about what was like mental health and different things like that. Kind of like because I feel like a lot of people, especially right now too, they're like depressed and everything. And
Yeah.
I had a couple people that messaged me. They said, you know what, you guys made help me to like see things a different way. They're like, I didn't change somebody's life, but they said that it brought up their mood and it kind of gave them something to think about. And
Yeah.
even if
Yeah.
I
Of
do that,
course.
something, even if this is able to do something like that, or like the things that you said was able to inspire somebody to, not let's not say like start the business right away, but now they're planning to do it like in 6 months, or they have the mindset. They're working on changing their mindset to do this. You know, that's something that's deeply humbling to me, and that I bet to you as well. It's something that it's like that you feel humbled by that they took inspiration from our words.
Oh yeah. Of course. Honestly, I can say that I've helped several businesses start in these past couple months that I'm not gonna mention because I don't want people to think that I'm trying to take credit for it. Al contrario, I feel like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we all. I think the idea is to help everybody try to help each other out. We're all
Yep.
trying to make a living. We're all trying to make money to help ourselves, our family, and whatnot. And at the end of the day, the last thing we should do is take credit for somebody else's work because I could have helped those businesses, but if those businesses didn't work the way they've worked, and done what they've done, they wouldn't be where they are now. And the same thing for me,
Mhm.
I know people that have helped me and gave me advice, whatnot, and I'm totally honest about it. I'll tell them, yeah, you know what, this guy told me, he told me to do this and that, and oh, for real, yeah, there's no problem with it. At the end of the day, they don't see me maybe as a competition. They see me as a brother that they want to help out, and I feel the same way.
Mhm.
If like you said, if maybe my words and or your words and our conversation we had helps another business that decided to listen to this, and they take action in another way that's benefiting their business, cool. At the end of the day, they don't have to go out and tell us, hey, you know or hide it or something, contar it, if it helps them, cool, that's what we want to do, to inspire everybody and help each other out, because at the end of the day, that's what it's about, helping each other out and be successful in a different way. So yeah, of course.
Yeah, and then again, just everybody, like he said right here, just if you feel any sort of inspiration from this, act upon it. Don't just sit there
Yep.
and live off because I've fallen into this loop. You live off the high of the moment, and you're just like, okay, awesome, and then you go, literally, you're gonna shut it off, and then just sit down and do nothing. If it's like, if you
Yeah.
felt something, like some sort of inspiration, like exactly like people go and they turn on Money Heist on Netflix, you know. So
Yeah.
if you felt something right now, you felt some sort of inspiration, something, get off your butt and go do it, because that's the only way things are gonna happen. And if you didn't and you
Yeah.
just like to listen, well, I appreciate you listening as well. So I
Yeah,
think,
for real.
yeah,
Some people are good
yeah, I don't know,
listeners,
yeah, some people are just gonna be like, I just came to see what was going on,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
whatever. So I think
Yeah.
that'll be everything for today. Again, this has been the Lama Podcast. I am here with my friend Misham from Traditions. Make sure you guys go over there. I'm gonna leave his social media in the description down there below, and his website and everything, so you guys could go over there and if you guys want to go and support him over there. Appreciate everybody listening. Any last words?
Um, not really. I just say want to thank you and I'll pay you for the opportunity to throw me on here. Like I said, I know that I might not be as popular as I wish I'm gonna be right now. Whatever people don't do know me or whatnot, myself, but I really appreciate this time, because at the end of the day, well, we talked about it before. The point of this whole thing was to inspire people and motivate people, and give people insight on different perspective on a different business and how I've done it and whatnot. So yeah, I'm really excited about this. Thank you for it, and I hope to hop on this the next time we maybe hop on this. I'm in a different place and I can give different insight. So thank you for the opportunity, and everybody go make something happen.
That's it. And no problem, bro. Of course. Amen. Everything, that's always what we were taught to do. So make sure you guys go over there and support. This has been the Lama Podcast. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.